Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, and I just wanted to talk real quick about this. Speak for yourself. And normally I don't watch these talking heads and stuff on TV because they just talking nonsense. I don't know if it's just because they get paid for it or what, but everything is clickbait. But I just want to talk about this Whitlock Wiley, um, LeVar Arrington, and your boy Tony Gonzalez on here. So everybody else is talking okay, but Whitlock has the audacity to say dumb stuff out of his mouth sometimes, almost like he just doesn't do any research. He claims he does, but we'll see. Let's take an escutcheon. All right.
We have to properly address what the criteria is in the head coaching search, and typically it goes a promotion from coordinator level. You try to reach into the college ranks and grab someone to become a professional coach, which is two different sports in terms of coaching. Or you look for someone who has a proven track record. This guy, Mike McCarthy, has a Super Bowl championship. And there are only 7 other active head coaches that have those Super Bowl championships. So he checks that box. And then also, I think that Jerry Jones intimately just looked at Mike McCarthy, saw Mike McCarthy and the Green Bay Packers twice beat his Cowboys in the playoffs. And you look at that situation, even Mike McCarthy and his ultimate success as a Super Bowl champion won that in.
And guys, we talked about that. We talked about the reasons why he signed Mike McCarthy, and a lot of things that I was saying before. And when I did the video on when he originally got signed, everybody kept asking, well, why was he the hire? Why was he the hire? Well, and they asked this in the press conference. I know a lot of you guys seen the press conference, and he basically was saying that, hey, he beat us a lot, a lot. I mean, he won his first Super Bowl at AT&T Stadium. When they won the Super Bowl that year. And, I guess it's one of those things where if you can't beat him, hire him.
Jerry's world. So maybe there's some intimacy of, oh, I got to watch this guy up close and what he was doing versus what we were doing in contrast. All that said, I respect this hire because he's a proven coach.
I like it. I think he did hit his mark on this one. McCarthy, they needed a respected guy, a proven guy with this type of talented roster. Also, he comes from the Marty Schottenheimer coaching tree. He's going to bring toughness. The one thing that I looked at this Dallas team was they were lacking in personality and identity. You need a guy who can have enough of pull, not so big of a personality where it makes Jerry uncomfortable, but the calm, strong demeanor to be able to, really develop a personality for an identity for this team. So I think it was a great pick. Obviously, he can develop quarterback. He's had Favre, he's had Gannon, and obviously Aaron Rodgers. So I think he can really do some good things with this offense, and possibly with his defensive coordinator decision, we'll see it that it's a total identity change.
And like LeVar Arrington was saying, we signed him, and another question was basically, was he going to be able to change the culture of the team, come in here, and how much pull was he going to have? And we've already seen that unlike any other coach that Jerry Jones has signed on this team or hired on this team, they didn't really have the okay to bring in their own staff like Mike McCarthy does. He literally came in and just cleaned house. I think the only 2 people on the staff that are still there is Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier, because unfortunately I think that John Kitna's going away too, and I'm a little sad about that. I was still waiting to hear word about Gary Brown. I know they're trying to get the Texas guy Stanton, which used to be Ezekiel Elliott's coach when he was at Ohio State, but they're in a feud between the Rams right now, so there's that. So when you guys listen to Jason Whitlock, what he says is going to be ridiculous. So this is what I was talking about.
I like that. Don't forget that was Gerback.
Yeah, Gerback. Did have Gerback.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant here. I really am. Just a little bit here. I like the pick, but still, the way he went out with Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, coming and saying this guy's not innovative. Go get me one of them young offensive coordinators. That's why he got ran out of Green Bay. It seems like the safe pick, a logical pick, but at the same time, if I was Jerry, I probably would have waited a little bit more to go out there and then maybe hire Mike, interview some of these young guys, or unless McCarthy said, hey, I got this plan, Jerry, Here's my assistant coaches. Here's the guy I want to bring in. I'm going to bring in a young guy. I can evolve. Don't listen to what Aaron said. He don't know. He just whatever. Whatever. Explain what the relationship was there to make me feel comfortable if I'm Jerry. But I think this is also Jerry's way of saying maybe he's giving up the reins. Maybe he's listening to all the naysayers saying you need to get out of the way and let a proven coach come in here and coach this team. So I know you like definitive answers sometimes, but I don't. I don't know her. You kind of split down the middle.
You've teed me up. You've put me.
Now, before Whitlock goes into his crap, I just want to say, to piggyback on what Tony Gonzalez was saying. So, we speculate, why they really liked him as a coach to be for this team. And I personally like the hire, and I've stressed this many times before, that I'm on board with it and everything like that. Again, we don't know what his impact is going to be. We don't know how well he's going to do because, again, none of us can read into the future. But I'm damn sure that it's going to be better than what we had with Jason Garrett. Now, we can speculate who's going to have a lot of control and things of that nature. What I think is going to happen is this. Jerry Jones realizes that, hey, I'm 77 years old. We got to win now. And this whole splash thing that they were talking about, trying to make a splash hire, we don't need a splash hire. We are not a team that's in rebuild mode. We are pieces away from being a Super Bowl contender. And because of that reason, you don't need to get a coach that's from college, like a Matt Rule or a Lincoln Riley or Urban Meyer or anything like that. Those are the sexy picks. But again, those are splash picks. Those are newspaper article signings for teams that are trying to rebuild. We are not rebuilding. So us getting a college coach really, from that aspect, doesn't make sense. You need a guy that's proven to come in here, that's won a Super Bowl, that can get you over that hump. Because again, we got the roster. Depending on what players they bring back, we still have a talented roster on this team, regardless. And I think that we're close. We're not rebuilding. So it's not like we need to take 3-4 years to figure it out. It's more so get a guy in here to get us over this hump so we can get deep into the playoffs and finally make it to an NFC title game. How about that? Now let's listen to Whitlock.
I don't like the hire. It's a bad hire.
Oh, it's a bad hire, huh?
I have been on a roller coaster ride with Mike McCarthy since the early 1990s. He came to Kansas City under, I think, Paul Hackett was the offensive coordinator, and he was allegedly Joe Montana's quarterback coach. And I was a critic in the 90s. Mike gets to Green Bay, becomes a head coach, shocks the hell out of me, wins a Super Bowl, and I had to give him credit.
Not only Super Bowl, but 4 NFC title games.
My narrative on him early was wrong. But then now, in 2019, when I look back at what Mike McCarthy accomplished in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, arguably the most talented quarterback in the NFL history, Brett Favre, one of the most talented guys in NFL history. The guy's got one Super Bowl.
Did you hear that? He just said he's got one Super Bowl. He made it seem like winning a Super Bowl is easy. Like every team in this league got like multiple Super Bowls. We already know who has the most Super Bowls in this league right now. You got the Patriots, you got our Dallas Cowboys, and you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody else is like 3, 2, 1. You know what I mean? Like 4. I think the Redskins got 4. But look at it like this: it's hard to win a Super Bowl, and they're going to talk about this too. You talk about Peyton's team, and with Drew Brees. How many Super Bowls did Drew Brees win? 1. So I don't understand what he's trying to get at here. Like he just makes it seem like he was supposed to go in there and win a Super Bowl every year. And also too, we talk about like the Dallas Cowboys and Jason Garrett only having Tony Romo and then Dak Prescott, but then you try to compare it to Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Remember, Mike McCarthy was there 13 seasons. He was there when he drafted Aaron Rodgers. He made Aaron Rodgers what Aaron Rodgers is. He groomed him to be the quarterback that he was. He helped him with his throwing mechanics just like we're trying to do with Dak Prescott to make him a better thrower. You see what I'm trying? You see where I'm paralleling here? So it's not like Aaron Rodgers just came in a beast and like he just had these weapons to work with. He still had to build onto it. And come on now, even when you talk about the running game, and a lot of people say that he ran away from the running game. He never had a running game like the Dallas Cowboys have with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. He had Eddie Lacy at the time, and some other guys I don't even remember. But at the same time, they weren't to the caliber of what we have at Dallas Cowboys. So what he's saying is just, it doesn't make sense.
One more than Garrett.
Yeah, I got it. And Jason Garrett would be sitting there saying, "I've had Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. This
What I
guy
just
said
said.
Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. That's not a fair. I'm not. Jerry Jones to me.
Also, too, Mike McCarthy had Matt Flynn. You guys remember Matt Flynn? He whooped our ass. Matt Flynn got paid as a backup quarterback because he whooped our ass. I think it was like 44 to like 18 or something. The score was ridiculous. Like, they beat us with a backup quarterback. So, who have we beat with a backup quarterback? I'll wait. So, to say that Mike McCarthy is not going to come in here and help this team is just, doesn't make sense to me. But here we go.
In the Dallas Cowboys, they're supposed to be Barry Bonds. They're supposed to swing for the fences.
What?
I don't like it when Barry Bonds draws a walk. And so, yeah, they got on base with Mike McCarthy. So what? This is a franchise that should be swinging for the fences all the time and trying to be an innovator.
I talked about that swinging for the fences thing. That doesn't always work.
Others are afraid to do. This is one of the safest choices I think you could make. It makes me want to yawn. And when I think about Dak Prescott, if Mike McCarthy couldn't,
He talking about to make him yawn. It don't matter what you think. At the same thing, it's you're doing it off a need. We're not trying to go out here and be I guess if you consider it like to do it just for clicks. We know that Jerry likes to be the center of attention, but we got Mike McCarthy for what we needed. Not going out here and getting a splash coach that's going to come in here and talk a bunch of rah-rah and not bust a damn grape. So, for him to compare it to baseball, talk about Barry Bonds swinging for the fences, yeah, everybody knows it's an American team and we normally swing for the fences. But in this situation, this was the best. And talk about a safe thing, it ain't no yawn for me. And I know Cowboy fans, you should be excited about the fact to get a guy like Mike McCarthy, a guy that's proven. Again, like I said, we don't know how it's going to be, but we know it's going to be damn sure better than what we had. And talk about control, the fact that he was allowed to change literally the whole staff, that should tell you something right there.
get the best out of Aaron Rodgers, he gonna get the best out of Dak.
He's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And let me just.
And Aaron Rodgers just ran his ass.
Oh, okay. We over there. All right. Prepare for
Really?
Yeah, prepare for your death by 1,000 papers.
We know that A-Rod pushed him out, though. We know that.
With your words, you told me last couple weeks that the best coach in the NFL for the last 2 years has been who?
Sean Payton.
And how many rings has he had?
He's got one.
One.
No.
One.
One Super Bowl ring, right? Let's keep it clear. And he has a Hall of Fame quarterback as well, right?
Drew Brees ain't Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, but go ahead.
Okay.
What?
Oh, you're not, what?
Not even close.
He's saying.
What? Wow. I know y'all heard that, right?
We know if he better than Brett Favre. I'll say that. But I'm gonna let that go. Here we go. You ready for this, Jason? So, if you're talking about one guy who did the best coaching job, but he only has one ring, why would you now talk harshly about someone else who's in that same
Exactly
with an arguably same quarterback?
Exactly.
One, because I've been tracking Mike McCarthy since the 1990s.
You ain't been tracking that. Shut up.
Again, I have more knowledge, feel more confident with this opinion than a lot of others.
Well, Jeff Fisher used to be great too in the 90s.
No. But I'm just saying, I've been following Mike McCarthy's career his entire time. I have more information. That's why I feel more confident with this opinion. Sean Payton's someone I've been following from afar, and I stand by all those things about Sean Payton. Sean Payton's been suspended for a year. Sean Payton's had a chance to go to the Super Bowl taken away from him for a year. I just don't think it's an apples-to-apples comparison. And Sean Payton, I'm just sorry. Drew Brees is a hell of a player. He's going to the Hall of Fame. but he's not Aaron
So-
Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers
so was
how many-
Aaron Rodgers.
two-time MVP.
All of these
How many
guys
times
are
Brett Favre MVP?
what you would say
This
future
guy
Hall of
played
Famers.
with generational, once-in-a-lifetime, multiple-winning, best players in the NFL, guys, and he got one Super Bowl out of it.
All right, we don't have to get bogged down by that because I said 1,000 pick because that was only one. Here's another thing. As Aaron Rodgers in actual production, did he get better without Mike McCarthy or not? Because we get clouded in the conversation because we see 13-3 as a record. Look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers this year. Was his quarterback rating better this year with or without his coach? Oh, it wasn't. Did he throw more interceptions this year? I know they're all few, 4-2. He didn't even look the same without Mike McCarthy, even though he ran Mike McCarthy out of town.
They're not hiring Mike McCarthy to get better stats out of Dak Prescott. They're hiring Mike
Well, that's because
McCarthy
Dak Prescott already had the
to get more
stats.
wins.
And the championship like he had.
Right,
That's the reason
but
why
to get
Kellen Moore is
more
staying on
wins.
the stat.
The Packers have far more wins this year. It doesn't matter what the stats look like from the quarterback. You're hiring these coaches to get wins. This is a very safe, uninspiring hire. I think the real intent behind it.
He said safe, uninspiring hire. Now, as far as it being safe, I would rather it be safe than you just going out here just betting the farm for something that's unknown. And we talked about betting the farm for unknown things. Now, you know, he's making the case of that, you know, it's a boring hire because he keeps saying that because the Packers are doing better without Mike McCarthy. But we're dealing with the same situation with Jason Garrett. When, you know, sometimes you be a coach for a team for so long that, like, especially when you get a guy like Aaron Rodgers, which is like a diva right now, and at this point, like, he wants something different. You know what I mean? And sometimes after 13 seasons being with somebody, the same thing becomes old. It could become stale. You need a change of scenery. And why do you think that players go to other teams and they do better? Sometimes the scheme is better. It's just a better fit. And it's all about being comfortable. Now, we know that there's a rift between him and Aaron Rodgers. You could tell because they interviewed Aaron Rodgers at his locker or whatever, and they asked him about how he felt about Mike McCarthy being the coach of the Cowboys. And it was real standoffish. It was like a backhanded, like, compliment. It was like, congratulations to him, but I would have thought that he would have went to a different team. And it was just a lot of shade being thrown because he was just like basically saying, oh yeah, we won a lot of games there, so I see Jerry's fascination with Mike McCarthy. He was just being very facetious with it. So let's just
It initially was, hey, if we can get Mike McCarthy and maybe package him with Marvin Lewis as the defense coordinator, that would be something. We got two very experienced guys, one running the deep, one running the offense. Marvin Lewis probably wasn't interested. Now they go with this safe choice of Mike McCarthy. I just don't, does nothing for me.
I like it. You know, here's why I like it. And I can understand it being boring, and I can understand it, you know, not.
Let me add one more
I
thing.
don't care that it's boring. It makes sense.
He's not a personality that's going to remotely challenge Jerry Jones. Jerry's not backing off in any way with this hire.
That's why I like
this hire, to me, says Jerry's still going to be the face and voice of this franchise.
That's why I like
Right.
it. That's why I like it, because you're not going to get away from Jerry being who Jerry is. I think we've established that. This is not a overly demonstrative individual in Mike McCarthy, but he is adequate at what he does. Now, saying that he wasn't
They got a
innovative-
commercial out about this right now about
Okay.
adequate or just okay.
Just okay.
All right.
That's basically what
Hold
we
on,
got.
but in that commercial, nobody got a Super Bowl championship.
It's a nice grab. It's a nice grab. But here with Mike McCarthy in this situation, he can build the identity of a very talented roster.
Yes.
You
This is the
don't
point
have
I've been
to
trying
get
to
too
make.
creative with what you have. You have the product in place right now.
You do.
need
You have the
someone who
product.
can come in and lead it the right way.
You need somebody to
Is he a
sell the
strong enough
product.
personality to be able
The
to
coach is the
lead it?
seller.
I do believe
The
he
players are the product.
is he innovative enough to be able to put the right pieces in place to go around or go along with the offensive, defensive, and special team side? That has yet to be seen and remains to be seen now, today. But if you're putting your bet down on a Mike McCarthy to have success with this type of roster, I would argue that he's not had a roster as good as the one that he's walking into with this Dallas situation. He doesn't have to be too over the top with what he's doing. Just do what he does in the past, and I think he'll be all right.
So you're saying is Jerry going to get out of the way though?
No,
And
no,
right now,
not.
Jerry. I think Jerry wants to get out of the way right now. Today, I believe he does. But once things.
Yeah, see, and Gonzalez says that he thinks that Jerry wants to get out of the way. It's clear that Jerry, we know that Jerry likes to be in control. We know like he likes to be in the limelight. But this coach is different than Jason Garrett. He's not a lame duck coach. He's a guy that's going to come in here and be like, okay, well, I have ideas of doing this. And Mike McCarthy said himself, I just want to coach this team. Jerry could take care of like the money and all that other stuff and the drafting the players, but I want to coach this team. So the players that I have right now, I want to concentrate what I have in front of me. And that's what he wants to do. And that's what I want. I don't need a coach to be in here to be all big headed and all that stuff. I just want somebody to come in here that's going to be well respected by the players and this front office. And again, Jerry Jones salivated over him. They like him. They love him. So and he's getting a lot of love, even from the media guys. I mean, you look at Jason Garrett. The media was just tired of Jason Garrett. Everybody was. I mean, I follow all them on Twitter, and you just hear the tweets, and you can just feel the animosity in the room. But now that you have a newer coach here, we're just hoping for the best and hoping that it could be different. But I think that Jerry Jones gave him a lot of credit and a lot of control by the fact that he changed his staff. Jason Garrett didn't change no staff. I think he brought maybe 2 people with him because he was already the offensive coordinator for the team. So he only had decisions that was very limited. And we know that Jerry Jones ran more of the stuff then. But I think now it's a new age. I think things are changing now. And this is what Mr. Whitlock is not understanding, that, Jerry Jones is realizing that we got to win now because I'm 77 years old.
Things get going again. It's like a New Year's resolution. It's like, hey, we lost. We got our butt kicked. I'm going to hire this guy who's had this great experience. And I'm going to get out of the way. I've learned my lesson. I'm getting old. I want to win this Super Bowl. I don't care anymore.
That's what I said.
But I think once the season starts, once you get back to that old way, the habits are hard to change. It's hard to change.
But Jerry's
going to change.
Tony, Jerry doesn't want to get out the way. Therefore, he hires someone.
You don't think he wants to at this level? Because
he hires someone.
But that part you don't know. You don't know that.
He's not contentious, but he ain't a punk. So this is the beauty of
definitely ain't no punk.
Because ask Aaron Rodgers, is he a punk?
He ain't no punk.
We're going to go at it. But ask upstairs, is he contentious? No, he's going to go with the company line. That's the beauty of this hire. We talk about you hire a coach to win.
Well, a coach, you got to go with the company line. If you don't go with the company line, you're going to get fired.
Appearances, 6 division titles. We talk about him going to the Cowboys.
6 division titles, 4 NFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl.
What did Belichick do in this second opportunity? Oh, Patriots. What did Pete Carroll do in this second opportunity?
Over 100 wins.
Even Andy Reid,
to
what
72
is he doing
losses.
In Kansas City? And we're not going to give Mike McCarthy, one of 8 coaches with a Super Bowl championship, a second opportunity around that block?
Listen, I think Andy Reid's a good analogy, and Mike has a Super Bowl appearance, but I've never heard anybody. For years, Andy Reid is an offensive genius. Everybody agrees with that. That was his reputation. It's been proven wherever he goes. That's never been Mike's reputation. Aaron Rodgers is a genius, and Aaron Rodgers had problems with him. And the last thing we heard...
Wait. He said Aaron Rodgers is a genius. Idiot, do you realize that, Aaron Rodgers, he drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't just become this great quarterback, like I said in the beginning of the video, by himself. He was groomed by Mike McCarthy. So his point is just invalid because it doesn't make sense. I said Aaron Rodgers didn't just get birthed like this into the NFL. It took time for him to get there. Just like Dak Prescott needs just a little bit of that help to get over the hump himself. And I think that because Dak is a very coachable quarterback, I think that Mike McCarthy is going to be really good for him. And also Kellen Moore as well, to learn to be a better offensive coordinator and better play caller.
And I don't want to take a major dump on. This is an uninspiring hire. I don't want to take a major dump on.
You've been
on
taking
Mike
a major
McCarthy.
dump on
But
the whole time.
last thing we heard was about him getting massages during team meetings. Do y'all remember that? This is a dude that was mailing it in, and now, in some people's mind, Aaron Rodgers just ran out of the franchise, and he's now going over to Jerry Jones, who still wants control. Because, Tony, I just want to be clear. We're talking about Mike McCarthy, not Urban Meyer. If they had hired Urban Meyer, that would have been a sign to me. Oh, Jerry's gonna stay.
And then do what?
Hiring Mike McCarthy means Jerry's learned nothing. He's got another guy in here that he can control, that will be beholden to him, and will, if necessary.
First of all, we just had a conversation about that McCarthy ain't no punk. So who's controlling what? I just said that, and we already seen that he already revamped the whole coaching staff. Like, I want to say 90% of the coaching staff is gone. And he ain't even been here 2 weeks yet. Matter of fact, he had already made changes before he even had his introductory press conference. Who does that? So to say that he ain't got no control is BS. To say that he's soft is really BS. Because ask A-Rod. A-Rod know he ain't no punk. That's the reason why they went back and forth with each other. So when you have a diva quarterback, you're not going to be well as a coach because they're not coachable. But Dak Prescott not going to give him no blowback right there because he's still learning. He wants to be better. And he respects Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy loves what Dak has done because he's seen him. He played against him when Dak was a rookie, and that's what it was. Now, for him to just come out here and we don't know what Jerry Jones is going to do. But if you use a little bit of common sense, you can see that things are changing already because of by how he was hired, by what he's already got control over, and what's happening within the organization right now, because we're in win-now mode. We're not rebuilding. You keep talking about some Urban Meyer. You guys know that Urban Meyer has health issues, right? Which is the reason why he stopped coaching for Ohio State. So think about it. He's not even coaching right now. That causes a lot of stress. You think that being the coach of the Cowboys ain't going to cause you stress and give you another heart attack? If you get another heart attack, then what happens? Now you ain't got no coach. So you're going to go out here and you're going to sell the farm for the unknown to get a college coach in here for what? You know what I mean? Like, we know that, you know, some people like Lincoln Riley, some like Urban Meyer, some wanted Matt Rule, some people wanted some other college coaches. But you look at this situation right here, I think that we're definitely better than what the Giants hired. They hired Joe Judge. I don't trust anybody under the Bill Belichick coaching tree because you look at a lot of them and they're not doing well in other places. You see Josh McDaniels left, came back, didn't do well. Because, some people wanted Josh McDaniels here. Even Whitlock himself said that he would have wanted us to get Josh McDaniels. And I'm like, dude, you know nothing. And I'm like, I don't know if they're just doing this just for TV ratings and for people like me to get mad about it because it's working apparently because it's giving them ratings. But I'm not a clickbait type person. I just wanted to bring this to y'all attention so y'all can see it.
Siri,
but
during game week of preparation, will go upstairs and get massages while Jerry and whoever he's controlling will go down there and coach the team. Thanks for
look here. You guys heard it. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment box about this whole situation. Now, again, like I said before, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what its impact is going to be, but I can pretty much guarantee you that it's going to be better than what we had before. I'm excited about the coaching staff, some of the guys that we have, i.e. the special teams coordinator, Fassel. I think that John Fassel is going to be really good. You see what he did with the Rams, and I think that if we keep our punter, Chris Jones, is going to have to learn how to throw the ball better because we're going to be doing a lot of trick plays and things of that nature, which I love. So that it's still a lot of questions going down the line. But one thing I will say is that, you know, when you're comparing apples to oranges like that, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. So let me know what you guys think in the comment box. I just want to talk about this video because it kind of got to me a little bit. But it's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon.